Test. All right, got my recorder going. Some people have asked, by the way, if you don't have your clapping visible, how do you sync? How does it still in sync? It's because the camera records audio as well as my recorder. So I'm not syncing. I'm not actually looking at the camera. I'm not actually looking at my hands. I'm syncing the waveform from the camera audio to my external recorder. Big brain, baby. Big brain. So many things going through my head I'd like to discuss with you all. I guess the first thing to discuss is the new feature of this video. This is someone suggested I try a 360 camera. This is the GoPro Max. I picked up I think it was a used or refurbished one, so pretty cheaply, so just to try it out. I don't have a lot of faith in GoPro products in general. They're usually pretty shitty, which is why I like using the DJI cam instead. This thing comes with these little camera covers, these lens covers. They cost 20 bucks. For a set of lens covers, and they arrive completely scratched. Maybe tomorrow I'll do an update where I'll show you it. But I thought it would be kind of cool to show you all the city with a 360-degree view. So this is a 360-degree camera, so if this works right on YouTube, you can actually look and see to the left of me, to the right of me, behind me. You can see all the crazy shit that I get to deal with when I'm riding my bike in Manhattan and about to get hit by people. Oh, so when I'm cursing someone on my side, you can actually see why I'm cursing. So this is going to be a cool new feature to these videos. So there's a few things I wanted to discuss, a few exciting things. So the first is that I have my EIN for the 501c4. So the 501c4, that's going to be the right to repair. I already have Repair Preservation Group. That is a nonprofit organization that's going to seek to provide educational materials to people and also get normal people to understand what right to repair is, all that kind of stuff. But what I want to start is something that allows me to do the fun stuff. The lobbying, direct ballot initiatives where, in a state you can just vote yes or no on right to repair. So I got the 501c4. I got the EIN and all that set up. So I'm going to be able to start actually doing a fundraiser for that at some point. I'm kind of excited. That's probably going to come next week. But I got the email today, and I was kind of like a schoolgirl jumping up and down in my office about it. I'm excited. The next thing is I got a settlement offer from the city of New York for $500 on what I talked about in my last video. For those who don't want to go over my last 20-minute video of what happened there, I don't want to play a game of chicken tonight. I'm wearing my normal helmet, not my motorcycle helmet. Usually I would just, go straight down the block and smash right into the person salmoning. And, salmoning means going the wrong way in a one-way lane. But I got my normal helmet on tonight. I don't want to die. That's why my mic sounds a little bit clearer than it does in some of my other videos when I have the full motorcycle helmet on. I got sent a $500 settlement. And for the TLDR, that was, I have a laptop repair shop. For people will leave devices here forever and never pick them up. I'll call them, I'll text them, I'll email them. After a year or two, it's just, you signed an agreement when you showed up here that said after 45 days of no communication, we recycle it and keep it. And if we call you and email and text you 5 or 10 times over the course of a year, it becomes mine at that point. It becomes mine at that point. And by the way, for the person wondering why I went through, the light is green for me and red for him. So here's the thing with jaywalking. I get jaywalking when there's nobody there. But it takes a special kind of person to jaywalk without even looking both ways. That's a death wish. Anytime you're going to break the law, my dad taught me this. If you're ever going to break the law, you look to your left and you look to your right, and then you do it. And there's a lot of people that are so dumb that when they're breaking the law, they're not even looking to their left and their right to see if they're going to get in trouble or going to get hurt or arrested or caught. It's like, at least do your due diligence, Anyway, so I have a laptop repair shop. Lots of people leave shit and just never fucking pick it up. And when they don't pick it up after a long period of time, it goes into a trash pile in the back of the store. And once it's in that trash pile, it is ours. At some point, we will reassemble them when we have time, and sometimes they go in the window. I don't do this with a lot of machines. Just because those, I honestly just don't have the time for it. Like, I have a lot of stuff at my store that I don't have the time to go through. So it just winds up sitting there until a slow season comes up. And when a slow season comes up, see what I'm doing here? You're going to break the law. You look both ways. See? By New York standards, that's obeying traffic laws. When you jaywalk, look both ways. Anyway. So, So an inspector comes in and says, I want to see the leads online records for these 2 machines that you bought. It's like, what do you mean bought? I don't buy computers from people. Like this guy that we do data recovery for the district attorney told us that we shouldn't buy computers from people because many of the people that are going to show up are usually stolen and it just causes problems. So we don't buy them. And he goes, well, you had to get them from somewhere. And we said, people leave them here and they never pick them up. And he leaves outside, kind of confused looking, comes back in after making a call on a cell phone and says, all right, we're writing you up for not having records of these machines you purchased. Then Steve repeats, we do not buy computers. When a customer leaves a device here, they sign a form. That form says that if they do not pick it up after 45 days, after we notify them and email them, which we do have records of for every single one of my tickets, and then once that happens, the machine becomes ours, and then it goes in the window for sale. Now, the Leads Online system, the way it was explained to me when a police officer came into my store 6 years ago, is for when we purchase computers from customers. It's not for when people don't pick up the fucking phone when we call them and say, pick your shit up, it's been 2 years, which happens more often than you think. By the way, it's a pretty busy night outside if you notice. This is it's nowhere near pre-COVID. This is nowhere near pre-COVID levels, but it doesn't feel like a ghost town anymore, and that's refreshing. I also don't know if the people outside are getting younger or I'm getting older. I think I'm getting older. I'm pretty sure I'm getting older, but I don't want to admit it. But when I go on these bike rides at night, I'm starting to feel kind of like, a dad or an uncle or something, rather than like a peer of the people that I see in the street. That's kind of weird, but I guess that's part of, I started this channel when I was like 23, and I'm 32, so I guess that's the way it works. And if this 360 camera works, you can actually see the shits to my left and my right. That'll be pretty cool. We'll see. Now, the problem with the settlement is that the settlement requires admission of guilt. But it also says very clearly, if you do this again, we can fine you up to the maximum so that there won't be a settlement again. Now, the problem is this. If this was a parking violation where, I parked someplace I'm not supposed to and I didn't see the sign and I'm in the wrong, I'd curse. I just pay, like $150 ticket for parking or whatever. Don't get me wrong. I'd curse. I'd go, dang, goddamn. But I just pay because I realize, I'm in the wrong. Fuck it. This is it's a stupid rule that you're not allowed to park in this whatever area, but fine. It's a way for the city to collect money. They win. The problem here is that they didn't win. Because because the fine, the summons is for not having the record for the computer that I purchased. But I didn't purchase a computer. So that's BS. So the problem is that this is going to happen again and again. And again, because the next time they come in, they're going to say, where's the record for that computer you purchased? And I'm going to say the same thing. It's a recycled computer. I could show you all day long paperwork for all these different people that dropped off a computer, signed our ticket, signed all of our paperwork, and then we contacted them saying, it's time for you to pick up your computer, it's done. They don't get back to us. We email them, hey, it's time to pick up. 45 days later, hey, it's time to pick up. 90 days later, hey, listen, this is your final notice. I'm going to call you and text you just to make sure you got this, but, you need to come pick this up or it's ours. And then us saying, okay, it's now finally ours. If I admit guilt to this, then in the future, when the same shit happens, then I'm going to have to pay $15K for it. So the way I see it, paying $500 now doesn't really make any sense. Because I'm just opening myself up to, I'm not paying $500 now. I'm going to pay $500 now and $15,000 later. So if I'm going to pay it, I might as well pay it now and at least have it on the record and see what happens, So I contacted a few attorneys. I'm going to see which one makes the most sense. I contacted one. He said, listen, you shouldn't pay me. You just pay the fine. It's going to cost more for the attorney. He said, no, you don't understand. This is going to happen again. Because what I did was not against the rule. And the inspector did not give a fuck about any of the records that I have for any of the transactions that I do where I agree to fix someone's computer, they don't pick it up for 2 or 3 years, and then I email them over and over again until I recycle it. Now, I had some interesting people show up in the comments. One person said, you realize you're supposed to mail them or like show up at their house or something before you throw it away, or you have to admit to the state every piece of property you take in. There is no business on earth that is contacting Andrew Cuomo every single time someone leaves something at their store. That's not the way any of this works. Further, I don't take the addresses of my customers. I take the information that they wish to give me, which is typically their phone number, their email, and their name. It's not my business to know your home address. If you're mailing me a device to repair, it is my business to know your address because I will need to mail that device back to you. But if you're a walk-in customer, I'm not taking your address. And frankly, even if I did take your address, it doesn't make a difference to this because I'm not buying your fucking computer. You missed the point. Another person was saying, well, you shouldn't, for the machine in the window, you should know exactly who it once belonged to. Well, A, even if I know exactly who it once belonged to, let's say I actually still know who that machine belonged to. Let's say that I keep that sticker on it for, I don't know, just think of a name. Catherine Spencer. And I keep that little label on the computer that says, this was once Catherine Spencer's computer, which is kind of fucking weird. When you buy stuff, you don't really want to know the last person who owned it in most cases and have a little sticker with their phone number and ticket number and all that on it that says, liquid damage, admitted November 18th, 2017. But it's not a record of me purchasing it because I never purchased it. Because I don't buy computers from people in New York City, because New York City is filled with fucking thieves and scumbags that steal computers and try to sell them in repair shops. Now, the next thing that I remember hearing from people is, well, Louis, you have to understand, a lot of people steal stuff in New York and sell it to repair shops, and they're happy to buy it. So you have to, no, I don't care what other people do. You don't get to fine me $15,000 because other people do fucked up shit. They said, well, you have no way to prove that you didn't buy it. Okay, prove to me that 3 years ago, you did not have sex with your ex-girlfriend. You're not proving a negative. And I'm sure you could come up with some strange, crazy, convoluted, insane way of trying to prove a negative. Like, prove that you did not pay this person under the table. That's just not a thing. That's not a thing. You need to have a fucking 360 camera on top of my head as I go about live my life every single day and record it. It's just, no, you're being ridiculous. So I reached out to a few attorneys. We'll see who was interested in taking my case there, and I'm gonna go for it. I can't pay the $500. I can't do it because it's gonna happen again. Oh, you want to race? Is that how this works? You think because you got gas you can pass me? All right. Bafang! Whoa. Nice with the no turn signal. Infinity Q60S with the no turn signal, making a right to cut me off. Nice try. See, that's why you gotta have fast reflexes. You gotta have fast reflexes. Because if you don't have... Jesus Christ. Grow a dick. There's no fucking reason to rev a motorcycle that is that loud at a red light. Unless you just don't have it. Like, why? What's the point of that? What are you getting out of that? I don't get it. Maybe I'm just road raging, but it's incredibly annoying. It's loud as hell, too. It just, like, destroys your eardrums. Because this is one of those things where I looked at the fine, it's like, fine, just fucking pay the $500 and move on. But then I read the part where it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, if you do this again, we could fine you again. And it's like, nah, now you fucked me. Now I can't. Now I can't. Now I have to do this. Because the way I see it, it's either, I'm going to have to pay that $15K at one point. If it's going to be, it might as well be now rather than later. Oversized load. What does that mean? Boo, traffic, boo. You're riding in like half of the center lane, half the right lane. I don't understand. Jesus Christ, it's back. Fuck me, it's back. You know what? You can go. Go. Go up there where... leave the noise up there. Let me sit here in peace. Here. Here. I'm gonna cross. Okay. This is not illegal. 2 reds make a green, right? Yeah, 2 reds make a green, I'm sure. All right. I'm sure he's a lovely guy. I'm sure that if we sat down that we'd have a... You know, he's probably a lovely human being. Kind-hearted, caring. I road rage on the no muffler engine noises. They drive me crazy. I guess. You know, I skipped over that part of puberty where, like, you know, like that whole like contract when growing up. Like, once a boy hits puberty, he finds the noise of an internal combustion engine revving attractive or awesome. I never did. I never found it cool. Like, this is before Tesla came out. This is before electric cars became a thing. This is before being a, like, save the planet, Greenpeace, whatever it was, thing was kind of a, you know, a way to signal your virtue or anything. This would be like, I just never found the sound of engines to be something that I particularly enjoyed. It's just an eardrum buster that's highly annoying and aggravating. It's the sound of obsolete technology to me. And it's not really, like, I'm not trying to be an elitist with it. I'm not trying to be one of these snobs like, look at me and my expensive, superior device. So you see what the fuck I drive. Like, look at this. Look at this. You see what I ride. This motor that's on this bike, you can find them on eBay from time to time for 450 bucks. This thing has literally been through a fire. You know, it's not like I'm coming at that from the standpoint of, look at, you know, I drive something so much better than you. It's just, I always found it cool to have something that can dart really fast, that just doesn't make noise. That I find cool. Like, it's not the VOM that I found cool. It's the tick, where you just go, and you just shoot straight forward like a rocket ship, and there's no noise. There's something about that I think is incredibly cool. All right. Now that I've gotten a thumbs down from every single car person that's watched the video, we can move on to the next part of the commute. So yeah, I realize that it's probably kind of stupid that I put the effort into the ticket. The same week that I'm going to be putting time and effort into the 501c4 to try to do the whole right to repair thing. The right to repair, the Repair Preservation Group Accident Fund thing is going to be the same week that I am wasting time on the phone with a fucking attorney so that the city doesn't take my money through defrauding me. But there's only so many fights that you could have at the same time, and you got to pick and choose your battles. Again, if it was a one-time, listen, man, the city's short on money. We just need 500 bucks. Can you give us 500 bucks? Like, we're broke. All the rich people are leaving. The poor people are leaving. The middle-class people are leaving. The businesses are leaving. Can you just do us a favor and give us 500 bucks? I'd say, fine. Fuck it. You win, de Blasio. You win. But I can't do it. The paper says on it. It says clear as day. We can fine you again for shit I didn't do. You know what a fucking goody two-shoes I am? I have a video that's 6 years old that talks about the whole cash no tax thing, because that's a very common one in New York City. Sorry, it's loud because there's a train next to me. So I will race the train and get past it so that you guys can hear me. And as I race the train, you will notice that my bike is silent. The 3D camera will allow you to see to my right that I am beating the train's ass. And I will shortly pass it at 19.99999 miles an hour. Actually, you know what would be really shitty? Is if this 360 camera allows you to see my fucking speedometer. See, that would be a great way for de Blasio to get some money. Speeding ticket for going over 19.9 miles an hour on a Bafang. Holy shit, that's 33 miles an hour. Yeah, I totally wasn't doing that. Cut this part out of the video, jackass. It's kind of like that drill music, this new genre where, my martial arts instructor was telling me about this, but they have this whole new genre of music where people kill each other and then brag about what they did with their name attached to it. completely devoid of the knowledge that policemen and detectives can listen to rap music as well and kind of learn what they did from it. Anyway, where did I leave off here? Yeah, anyway, if it was just something where de Blasio's like, listen, man, we're broke. We're going to try and take this $500 from you. We're going to fuck you, but this is just a one-time thing. I just fucking do it. It's like, fine, fuck it. It's not worth it right now. I got to raise $5 to $20 million so that I could do a direct ballot initiative in a state for right to repair before this industry crumbles and gets wrecked. You know, I don't have time for this. But it says on the paper that if we catch you doing this thing again, we get to take $15K from you. Like, no, it's not happening. I actually have a video on the whole cash and no tax thing because I get this all the time. It's a 5 or 6 year old video. I'll link to it down below. Because people always use, it's crazy, you know. People don't do this when they're showing. Oh my God, that's loud. Like, that is really loud. Jesus. They do this thing where they say, you know, if I pay cash, can I avoid paying tax? Nobody does this at Best Buy. Nobody does it at Walmart. They do it at Rossmann Group. So what I hear when people say that is, you know, I don't think I could get away with that at a legitimate business. But your business looks like a shit business where I probably could ask that and get away with it. But also, when someone walks in and says cash and no tax, what they're saying is, for a marginal benefit to you, a close to non-existent benefit to you, I would like you to risk a $30,000 or $50,000 or $80,000 fine and audit by the IRS, which I find to be ridiculous. Like, that's just, there's no way in hell I'm taking that proposition. I have my beliefs. I have my thoughts on the world. I share them. Sometimes I'm not very tactful about them. There are people that dislike me pretty much, so it makes sense for a person like me to pay all of his taxes and obey all laws and local ordinances. Besides the No Bafang one, of course. Because I don't feel like making myself an easy target. There are a lot of people in this business where if someone says, hey, if I pay cash, is there no tax? They just won't report it and they'll take it. I'm not doing that. Not doing that. I have a 6-year-old video on that. I actually made a name tag that says F off with a cash, no tax shit, because I was getting so many people walking in over a short period of time that were doing that. And so it aggravates me. I don't know, kind of pissed me off, you know? You know how much money I probably could have made from buying all these fucking stolen computers that people show up at the store with? Because there are people that used to walk in when the A1398 was new, mind you. Like, this machine was like $3,500. They'd walk in not having a fucking clue what they own. They give it to me and they say, hey man, you buy computers? I'm like, no. What's wrong with it? Why do you want to sell it? It's like, hey, I just don't want it. And I go, okay, log into it. Let me and then they'd be like, oh, I don't have the password. It's like, yeah, of course you don't. It's like, I'm not doing that. And they would be willing. He's like, I'll give it to you for $200. It's like, this is a $3,000 computer. Do you know how much money I would have if I did that? Maybe I'd be riding around on the bike where I actually, the way the rear derailleur actually worked. I don't know. I would have way more money, and I've declined it repeatedly because I know that all those machines are fucking stolen. So when I hear the people saying, listen, you can't prove that you didn't buy it, how are you going to prove that this machine in the window, you didn't pay for it? Unless I attach this 360 camera to my dick and record it every single day. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. We have this crazy concept in the United States. Maybe de Blasio and the Department of Consumer Affairs hasn't heard of it. It's called Presumption of Innocence. The burden of proof is on the prosecution to prove that you did something wrong. It's not on me. You don't have to follow yourself around with a fucking camera all day long to prove that you did not do something wrong. If they say that you murdered someone, they have to prove that you murdered someone. They have to present the evidence. If you think I bought this machine from somebody and it was stolen, that's on you. It's so aggravating. But what are you going to do? What you gonna do? By the way, to my right, which you can actually see now because of 360 camera, that is an arrow. There is nobody here at this red light. Ugh. Where the hell is he going to? That's another thing I'm going to miss once I have a car. You know, traffic laws are not multiple choice anymore. You actually have to stop at every red light. Yeah, well. I stop at way more reds and stop signs than the average cyclist in New York City. It's just I ride at night, so you don't get to see most of them. Yeah, there's definitely a lot more activity out tonight than there is on Friday night before. People are starting to actually go outside again. You know, it seems like it's mostly police there, actually, to kind of take that back. Yeah, I'm excited. This is gonna be This is the expensive area of downtown Brooklyn. It looks as shitty as the non-expensive areas of Brooklyn, except it has a couple of high-rises like that in businessy looking buildings that you won't see in the other parts of Brooklyn. That's a lot of wind. Ow, that's obnoxious. Can anyone explain to me the purpose of driving around with these bumper bully things? I thought the whole purpose of these bumper bully things is that you put it on when the car is parked and you put it back inside the car when the car is not parked to keep it from scratching your car, because little bits of debris get on the bumper bully thing, and then if it's still on the car as it's waving back and forth, then it's going to wind up scratching your car. At least that's what I've heard. But what seems to make sense. Retail for lease and brown paper. Brown paper means I don't have a permit from the Department of Buildings for the construction that I'm doing inside there. Mind your fucking business. Or I do have a permit, it's just what I have a permit for is not what I'm actually doing inside. You know what was really funny? When I was talking to contractors, the amount of the contractors that really have no idea who I am. This is happening a lot in New York. They have no idea who I am. They don't know me from a hole in the wall. Would come by and say, oh yeah, okay, so here's the things you need a permit for. Here's the stuff where we can kind of fudge it and not actually get a permit. We do this all the time. And it's like, wait, what? How do you know I'm not a fucking inspector? Are you serious? But it's so commonplace for contractors to completely skirt the Department of Buildings because, you know, I imagine the Department of Buildings is almost as useless as the Department of Consumer Affairs. That so many business people will speak to new clients that they've never met before and just, you know, casually explain how they're breaking the law. It's crazy, but welcome to New York. Welcome to New York. These are all the fancy schmancy buildings. On my usual ride home, you don't see these because I usually take the Williamsburg Bridge, not the Manhattan Bridge. I took the Manhattan Bridge because every now and then I want to change up a little bit. So this is one of those fancy schmancy buildings where you're going to spend like $3,500 for an apartment the size of the closet. I actually looked at apartments in this building once because I just did it for the hell of it. Like, let's say, once I got to the point where I actually could afford to live in that building, I looked. The apartment is so tiny. It's like the size of the bedroom section of my apartment. So my apartment that I have right now is about 1,100 square feet. Those things were about 300 square feet, and that was including, and you know, they would. That's before you even consider the fact that all real estate in New York, they lie about the size of it. You got this one in front of here, which is even smaller, and you don't get parking. At least that one, I think you got parking. I don't think this one has parking. But this one is right in front of me. There's a Whole Foods downstairs. So, but you get an additional surcharge on this one for the Whole Foods. Like if you look it up, I think this place is called the Ashland. Oh my God. It's not even so much the price of the space, it's the size. Even if you pay for their biggest apartment, it is this. I haven't seen something that small since I changed my underwear. Yeah, now you know that the city's returning to full activity because I'm seeing these ambulances that come out more often. When you hear police sirens more often, as I've heard tonight, that's how you know the city's coming back into full gear. Hearing the good old familiar sounds of New York, non-stop sirens. Waking up to a siren, falling asleep to a siren. You know, it's kind of... That's something I'll miss if I move somewhere else. The sound of a siren. Did you say let's go? Oh, okay. Vroom. I heard him say let's go. Sit. The other thing I noticed about all those people with the bumper bully is the bumper bully only covers the center section of your bumper, yet all the people who suck at parallel parking are going to dent you in the corner of your bumper, not in the center. It doesn't really seem to actually serve the purpose that it's designed for. Oh, God, still with this shit. You fucking can't. Oh, Jesus Christ. Fuck off with this building a house shit. Why are you we're still building a house outside? Really? Is Cuomo still the governor? I thought they got rid of him. When is #MeToo going to come for him? These houses make slightly more sense than those ones because at least they tried to separate the people into different houses. Still makes me laugh looking at it, but at least there's something to the stuff on the right. I'm kind of curious how the 360 view is working for everybody. I really hope this thing works. I kind of want to see how the 360 view thing is. I haven't seen many bike rides around New York with a 360 camera. I wonder if it makes for a more immersive experience. I'm also curious if YouTube is going to allow you to drag it around. I'm hoping that when I take the video and mux it in a different container with the wave or FLAC audio from my Zoom audio recorder that I use, that it doesn't mess up the video and take away its 360-ness or whatever. We'll see. Hopefully. But if I use the audio from the camera, it's kind of worthless. Then again, most of what I've been saying tonight is kind of worthless in the begin with. Guy in the city bike is braver than me. There's no way he could have seen around that block to see if somebody was coming with the angle that he was looking at. At the very least, treat the red light as a stop sign. You know? Alright, here we are entering a less expensive part of Brooklyn. Whoa, that was a gigantic fucking pothole. I just avoided that. Narrowly avoided that killing me. Okay, this... Oh, Jesus, more of this outdoor dining bullshit. What the fuck is this? Okay, at least see. Okay, you know what? I rate this like, let's see. I rate this 10 out of 10 outdoor because they have the bullshit huts, but they're not using them. Okay, they're using one of the bullshit huts. You know what? I rate this a 9 out of 10 outdoor. 9 out of 10 actually outdoor. All right. And now we go to where I live, where there's no restaurants outside and no businesses or anything, because then my apartment would be an additional $1,500, $2,000. This is kind of like the border of Clinton Hill and Bed-Stuy. Clinton Hill is more expensive than downtown. Is more expensive than Bed-Stuy, but downtown Brooklyn's more expensive than both of them. I live someplace where you have a bodega and a check cashing place, and a bodega and a check cashing place, and a bodega and a check cashing place. One of the few ways you know you're in a neighborhood where the rent is even remotely not insane. You can go downstairs and there's nice restaurants you can eat at. You're probably paying $3,200 a month for a studio. Hey, they have the door open over there at that restaurant, so I rate that over there 7 out of 10 outdoors. Telling you, I would make a great inspector for this indoor-outdoor shit. You know, you must be at least a 6 out of 10 on the outdoor scale in order to be considered outdoor dining. I think I could do it. I just would never want to take that job. And I don't think anybody else wants to either, which is why nobody's doing it. Hell, they can get you to fine people for shit that they didn't do, but even in this city, they still can't find someone that's willing to enforce indoor-outdoor dining. Give me a summons for $15K because I don't have a record of a purchase I never made. But when you say that you must have outdoor dining, you will allow people to actually build housing structures on the street, enclose them with a window, a roof, a ceiling, a door, and not say a word. Welcome to New York City. Here's another one of these lovely structures over here. At least this one's not fully enclosed, though. It doesn't have a window. It's kind of a half house there. I would call that a half house. I rate this 10 out of 10 outdoor. That's outdoors over there. I approve. All right, getting close to home sweet home. A few more blocks to go. Once we are someplace where there are no modern conveniences of life, no restaurants, no fancy schmancy things, we will be where I live. All right. That guy does not have his feet on the pegs of his scooter. That's how you can tell that it's the Grubhub delivery people, that's how you can tell that they're scared of riding, because they're afraid of losing their balance or tilting and they want to have their feet down. But the reality is that by riding in the way that they're riding, the way that his feet are, he's not going to be able to actually catch himself if that is his fear. It's also something to note, if you're learning how to ride a motorcycle or you're learning how to, firstly, if you're going to have your feet down, wear boots, not sneakers. Because if your hope is that you will be able to stop yourself from skidding out or regain control, it's not going to happen with sneakers, and it's most certainly not going to happen with low-top sneakers. It'll happen with boots. I would dare say that the regulations that require you to wear a helmet are actually not as important as, let's say, I'm not saying you should have to wear a helmet, although I do wear a helmet. But I believe that if you are on a motorcycle or e-bike, that wearing boots is more important to your safety than wearing a helmet, because when you skid out, when you go to stomp and regain control, you're going to be able to do that with boots, not sneakers. But you should keep your feet on the pegs, not hover them barely above the ground with your toe down, because his toe is pointing at the road, not his heel. So if he actually does trip, he's going to wind up breaking his toe and being in incredible pain, because your toe is, that's just not, it's not going to keep him from skidding out. It's horrible. And I know that a lot of the people that have restaurants wind up you know, giving their delivery people these fleets of Bafangs, these motorbikes, and they're not necessarily comfortable riding them, but they do it anyway. Like sometimes the bike actually belongs to the delivery driver, and sometimes it belongs to the restaurant owner. And you can tell which ones are not comfortable using it because they'll have their feet hovering over the road. It's dangerous. It's not, you know, like I'm not saying get a license or anything else because there's no license for Bafang riding because they're not fucking legal. But you know, just teach them how to ride it a little bit before you give it to them and tell them that it's theirs, you know, to use it for deliveries because they're gonna be nervous and ride like that. I don't understand the whole the style of having the pants below the ass thing. I don't do that. I just saw one of those with the pants below the ass thing. I've just never understood the appeal of that. Unless you're looking to encourage rear entry, which again, if you're into it, nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of weird. It's kind of weird to have the whole pants below the ass all the time thing. I've never understood that style. All right. Anyway, I will see you all in the next video. We'll see how this came out. It's really just kind of me, you know, ranting for 30 or 40 minutes while riding a bike. Nothing of quality or substance here, but I'll see you all in the next video. And yeah, next week, start the bank account for the 501c4, start a fundraiser, and we'll see. We'll you know, I'm kind of torn as to what to do here. So, if, you know, if I get on the lower ends of the amount of money I'm looking for, I can't do a direct ballot initiative, but I would be able to fund lobbying in states, but you'd still be going through politicians. If I get the real goal of what I'm looking for, then I'll be able to actually do a direct ballot initiative, and a direct ballot initiative is what I think has the best chance, because that's where you bypass the politicians and allow normal people to vote on. You know, I think I have to be careful how I phrase this. I don't want to promise that I'm going to do a direct ballot initiative, because if I wind up you know, if I wind up doing a fundraiser and I collect like $20,000, then obviously, you know, lobbying in states is really all I'd be able to do at that point. But if I collect even anywhere remotely close to the 5 to 20 million that place said I needed, direct ballot, baby. Anyway, see y'all later. See y'all later. Thank you for watching, and